Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hearthstone. So, for the first time in probably a year, I've got nothing to do and more to talk about, and I need to make more recordings, so we're doing an arena run. Now, it really hasn't been a year. It's been less than that. So, this is going to be an interesting thought because what I want to do here is win, so probably not Warlock. I could go with Mage and go with Magic. Or I could go with Priest and I could go with Healing. And while I do have an excellent Priest deck that I've really enjoyed for a long time, I think Mage is the best choice for a bad player like me. Deal 2 damage to all minions, spell damage, battlecry, draw a card, destroy an enemy's secrets, gain +1/+1. This is a very specific card, so I wouldn't want to play this. Deal 2 damage to all minions, I don't want that. This is a good one. Let's see. Give a random friendly beast, dragon, and murloc +1/+1. Would that have to be on my deck? And would that potentially be other players? I don't think so. I don't think we'll do that. Now let's see. Do I want the taunt with an enrage or an ice lance? I'll take ice lance. I will take a beast with taunt. I will, let's see, restore 4 health to each hero. At the end of your turn, restore 1 health to your hero. I'll take that one. Freeze a character, deal 2 damage, gain 1 attack. I kind of want this more than I want this, but I'm going to take this. Because we're down the path of a freeze mage deck. That's the beginning of it, at least. We'll take that one. Spell damage +2, restore minion full health. I'll take spell damage +2. Spell damage. Your opponent puts a minion from their deck onto the battlefield. Reveal minion if yours cost more, gain taunt and divine shield. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take fireball definitely. When a friendly minion dies, summon a random minion. Okay. Take that. We'll do this. We'll do this. I'm really thinking here. Take that one. Do I want arcane missiles or polymorph? Which is more valuable? Probably polymorph. And then we'll take the taunt guy. Your other murlocs have +1 attack. We have 18 more, 13 more cards. So let's take a murloc for 1 mana. Let's take this. Let's take this. Take this one. And take that one. And then take this one. And we'll take that. We'll take this and that one. Trying to get some lower mana costing cards. 3 cards to go. Flame Cannon or a 1/1 Murloc. Add a random potion to your hand. Interesting. We'll take that. And let's see. I'll take the High Goon. And well, so not a genius arena run, obviously. I mean, you're just given 3 random cards, and you can see that the split is pretty smooth here. no great legendary options ever came up. And I don't think the options have anything to do with the cards actually that I've unlocked. If that was the case, I would have probably seen an arena card. So we're ready to go, and hopefully it's not just 3 losses, but if we could even get 3 wins, that would be probably groundbreaking for me as far as arena wins. We're at 6,100 gold. So when we finish this arena run, I'm going to spend another 100 gold. And if we're going to continue to do this every 6 days or so, because we'll have a tavern brawl the other time, and hopefully that will take up some time too, then maybe we'll continue to make progress to the 10,000 I kind of wish I was at. Right now we know no expansion has been announced, so we're good as far as that point of view, at least. It is possible that Hearthstone will start slowing down a little bit now that Blizzard has moved on to Overwatch. So let's cover the last few things that we have to talk about. Superhot VR is adding a bunch of features, like a no shooting mode, a 10 minutes to beat the whole game mode, things like that. I think about 10 of them. Sadly, I will never probably own the VR helmet, so I can't play Superhot VR, but I could play Superhot if I ever had any free time. More and more, I'm at that weird position where I'm starting to think, how can I use my time? See, whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 1/1 imp. So, do I have a real reason I want to freeze a character? Not a 2/4 for sure. Xbox is coming up with an update called Copilot. Well, no, it's coming out with an update that has a Copilot feature. And this is an interesting feature because it's not something that I would have thought of. And it's just kind of almost out of the blue. What it does is it allows the player to share their control with somebody online. So, instead of, say, your usual versus where one player might be on an Xbox One playing as the first player and one player might be on a different Xbox One playing the second player, this specifically puts it puts both inputs on player one. And see, this seems kind of silly. Why would you want to do this? Is it for some weird, like, Nintendo-like gameplay mechanic? And no, it really isn't. It's simply for assisting people. So, imagine I had a young relative. I have young relatives. And they were trying to play something on the Xbox One. But they don't live with me. Obviously, they're distant relatives. So, if I had an Xbox One, then I could get the Copilot feature. I assume I could also see their game through streaming and beat the little portion of the game that they were having difficulty with. And this is a genius move on my part. Well, not on my part, but on Microsoft's part. Darn it. Let's see. Let's go ahead and save ourselves a little bit. Job's done. So yeah, that's a rather cool idea. Furthermore, if somebody is disabled, then you could help them that way. There was a guy that put out a video. He has one of these deformative diseases where his his arms did not develop at all, and he's playing Final Fantasy. Let's see, kill this guy. And taunt this guy. And then kill this guy. And then in turn, so yeah, it's inspiring to watch somebody else play a modern game with their feet, because that's in the back of my head always my backup plan. If something goes wrong, if my hands fall off, as I say, as I explain it, at least I know that modern games still can be played that way. It's not ideal by any factor, but it is very possibly your only option. Well, I've lost. So, yeah, the co-pilot feature could be very helpful for people who need assistance because they're disabled. It could be very helpful for people who need assistance for other reasons. It really opens a pathway, much like how email and just even regular mail open different pathways for distant relatives to still have some kind of relation, distant relations, not even relatives. They have some interaction with each other. It's kind of like chess through the mail, except for instantaneous and really helpful. That being said, it is very possible that nobody is going to play or be into video games as much as me that have any relation to me. It seems like when you are a decent video game player, anybody, any little brothers, any little sisters, they kind of don't tend to follow in your footsteps that much after a while. I don't know. It's kind of a problem of two young kids competing, but I have a specific relative that literally plays video games, and they are so weird for it too. It's like they don't play anything on their phone, they don't play anything anywhere. Restore 1 health to your hero. So we'll do that. Job's done. Next, let's see. Next thing we have to do, talk about Windows 10 is getting a friendlier, user-friendly security center thing. Windows 10 news is kind of now just by de facto part of the news I'm gonna cover if I see it, because as long as Windows 10 is the default Windows that people play video games on, updated security center that's a little bit more friendly would be nice. Microsoft kind of goes backwards and forwards on these things a lot. Let's see, this and then this and then that. Job's done. See, this guy won't heal himself, unfortunately. So if this guy decides to attack that one, now I have a 1/1 wisp. Now, deal 4 damage, cost 1 less for each character that's died. Attack. Looks like we're gonna win this one, or at least we have a chance. Another thing in the Xbox One update is more surround sound profiles have been added, and bitstream for Blu-ray playback has been added. So what that mostly means is that new setups for Dolby Atmos, Dolby Atmos home theater, Dolby Atmos surround headphones. There's a Microsoft profile that was added into it. Not super useful, and it's still going to have to be implemented in games, but I love to see any improvement on audio quality, even though most people don't embrace any of these new changes or do anything with it, which is always a bit of a shame. But the bit stream for the Blu-ray playback is a lot more important, and kind of surprising that it's not there already, because you definitely want bit stream on Blu-ray playback to a surround sound amp if you're using a surround sound amp, and that kind of probably tells me that the Xbox One would have been a bad choice of a Blu-ray player. Now, I don't know how much of a Blu-ray player is... I need a Blu-ray player, personally. I need a 4K upscaling Blu-ray player, probably. Maybe even an 8K by the time I get around to getting one. But that's just because I have Blu-rays and DVDs that I'd like to be upscaled. But most people are happy with Netflix. I too am happy with Netflix, but their selection is not as eclectic as my usual choices. So I'm kind of a special case as it is. I have far too many surround sounds in my house at this point, and far too many TVs. I've looked around and said, 10 years ago it made so much sense, and I was kind of getting overpaid for what my age and my education level. But so I had a lot of money compared to very no bills at all, and I was buying a lot of speakers, a lot of surround sounds, getting very nice home theater setups in 2 or 3 rooms of a house. And right now I have 3 rooms of surround sounds, and what eventually occurred is the surround sound amps I have are not of a quality that they would play well with modern setups, because they don't even have HDMI, and HDMI changed everything. So that then kind of puts like 3 of my surround sound amps don't have HDMI, so they're kind of not really useful for what they're intended for. You can still use them as radios and to amp up speakers. You could certainly plug in something with a headphone jack, so as long as Apple doesn't get rid of all headphone jacks everywhere, you could do something like that and get a much louder experience. Man, am I gonna lose here? Am I seriously gonna lose here? Random potion to my hand.
Drink the power.
Deal 5 damage to all minions except dragons. Do it!
Job's done.
Didn't work. Didn't save the day. But
Behold,
yeah.
the might of Stormwind.
My speakers fortunately don't ever really go out of use. Although with the Dolby Atmos up speakers that they're trying to add, that you're getting it from usually I would do 7.1 or 5.1 setups, and they're now trying to add it to a 9.1 setup, which is really ridiculous, as most people are still at stereo. Total Biscuit has lent his voice to be an announcer pack in StarCraft 2. This is, again, a violation of church and state as far as I'm concerned. Total Biscuit is a video game reviewer. If he wants to be friends with the video game industry, he shouldn't be reviewing their games. That being said, who's really reviewing StarCraft 2? Well, actually, it's very possible there might be some new StarCraft 2 content that comes out and he reviews it. It would be ironic if he reviewed his own voice back. But
You asked for
But
it.
I don't know if I really have any hard evidence that Total Biscuit was ever or has ever been a hardline good unbiased source. Instead, I think he's often gone on his long rants and said nobody is unbiased and kind of muddied the water there. Of course, nobody's unbiased, but that doesn't mean you're friends with the makers. It's the same thing with Jim Sterling. He's friends with and had his likeness put in games. And if I was a famous YouTuber, well, even now, as a non-famous YouTuber, I would never allow my likeness or voice in a video game. I would not sell it for a game. I wouldn't do Captain Sparkles thing and make my own game. Because Captain Sparkles, while he claims to be a Let's Player, he's either violating fair use by not being a critic, or he's a critic. That's his two choices. I'll leave it to him to decide which one he wants to say, because you can't really have it both ways. And Fortress Fallout was a weird thing, and then more recently on Captain Sparkles, his music channel thing is he's just trying to push more and more people towards listening to music things that he endorses. So it's hashtag sponsored stuff. I got some new things, new information from Penn Jillette's podcast. Penn Jillette started pushing for the Nerdvania Cafe, which is right next to the Gearbox Studios in Dallas, Texas. And he let slip that he thought the Nerdvania Cafe was being run by the brother of the Gearbox CEO, Randy Pitchford's wife. So, his brother-in-law, effectively. And Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford has been heavily pushing and promoting Nerdvania Cafe and I directly asked him, is this hashtag sponsored? And no response, of course. So I think there's clearly a case here for a lawsuit.
You wanna blow something up?
This was a mistake. I can't believe I didn't die there, but whatever.
Hit it very hard.
Let's see if I do 2 damage to all minions. Nah. Let's keep it going. So, if that's the truth, then Randy Pitchford's brother-in-law is the person who's cooking at Nerdvania. I mean, there's not really a problem with him pushing it, even arguably, even if he is using his private Twitter that might actually be the property of Gearbox. Thus, he's entangling and endorsing something on maybe an account he doesn't actually own. That's hard to prove one way or the other. And it is certainly a weird thing to get into, to say somebody's name and Twitter account isn't actually yours because it was set up specifically, or it was in your contract that you were supposed to tweet on these things. Generally, ideally, you'd have something like Gearbox CEO Twitter and then Randy Pitchford Twitter. Similar issue came up when President now Trump Twitter was transferred over. Like, although I don't know how much of the really is a transfer there. I don't know if it is a case that.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Let's see. I don't know if it's a case that Donald Trump can't post from the real Donald Trump anymore, or just shouldn't. I guess many would argue he always shouldn't, but
Finally,
darn it! If I had played this and done that, that's an oops.
Whoops.
but he was given the POTUS, at POTUS, President of the United States thing. And in the transition, there was a company that was in charge of it. And they took the people who were subscribed to the at POTUS before
We must cleanse
and
the Sunwell.
duplicated them to at POTUS 44, which is Barack Obama was the 44th president, as an archive. And I assume Barack Obama won't be posting anything more to that archive. And see, this seems like it very much was done in partnership with the Twitter, and then they kept everybody who was subscribed to POTUS, and then people were kind of upset and they're like, well, I was following Barack Obama and now I'm following Donald Trump, and in all honesty, it should have been a non-issue. They should have said, fine, don't unsubscribe, unfollow if you don't want to follow Donald Trump. But in actuality, you were subscribed to the President of the United States when that title was handed over. It's apparently an actual legal government asset that has to be handed over, and that's going to get weirder and weirder as time goes forward.
Drink the power.
Let's see. Can I do 2 damage to all minions?
Your turn to fall.
Let's see.
Job's done.
End the turn there. Hopefully I did it right. Hopefully. The last thing I have to talk about here is, as I'm probably gonna fail, is Lego Indiana Jones. I almost was unable to cover Lego Indiana Jones. I was about the 3rd level in the game, and I had noticed a bug that I have not seen in any of the other Lego games. Certainly, I've also noticed the bug of it being lagging, and that seems to be across the board just strangeness. Because for the best as I can recall, it didn't happen in the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga game. And then Lego Indiana Jones, the original trilogy, is like right after that game. Or it was at least right after the first 2 Lego games. But let's see. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. Do this. And then do this. This. And here. So, the bugginess is pretty common. It's completely unacceptable. I highly recommend nobody play Lego games on PC. It's a shame, but it's just the case it is. But then there was also this issue where your feet would get stuck in the floor. So you try to hit A, and it was like just a little half a pixel jump up. 1 pixel, 2 pixel, 3 pixel jump up. Far from how high you're supposed to actually be able to jump. To the point where on bridges that would curve downward, you couldn't even get from like 1 plank on a bridge up to the next plank on a bridge. So there's a certain point where you have to hold an item and you can't jump because of this bug, and you can't get past the bridge, and there's just no way. So it was like game breaking. I'm like, I cannot do this. There's no way. It's impossible. And so then I looked it up on the complaint forums, and on the Steam discussion forums, there seems to be a kind of lack of talk about how much it lags, which makes me kind of wonder if it isn't my specific setup. But it lags when OBS isn't recording, so I know unless it's lagging specifically because OBS is open, which makes no sense. Or because some other service is open, it just doesn't make any sense. Doing more research, it seems like the Lego games were made for Windows 7, and they may run better on Windows 7 as a 32-bit program. it also seems like the physics engine is directly built into the... Hey, we got one victory, that's good. It feels like the physics engine is directly built alongside the graphics engine. So when more graphics effects come up, it seems to trigger the lagging. So fire explosions, water rippling, coins appearing and being shiny, reflections, shadows, things like that should have nothing to do with a physics engine or should have nothing to do with anything. It should just drop frames. That's what vertical sync means, is if you happen to make more frames, just drop one. And in the end, turning on vertical sync fixed that one bug where you couldn't jump insanely well too, perfectly. But turning on vertical sync does not fix the lagging. Nothing seems to fix the lagging. And it's really irritating, really unacceptable. And I'm glad I have almost every LEGO game at this point, because like I'm just hoping for mods or patches, I suppose, at some point to get them to run better. I have more than enough power now. If I wasn't doing this for YouTube, I would heavily consider getting refunds and not playing games. And I probably should consider that anyways, because and just not covering LEGO games and just ending that time slot in total. That would be the easiest solution possible, to say, you know what, forget it, I'm not going to have a kids section, I'm just not going to cover kids games, and I'm not going to cover any of these LEGO games because I get content ID'd more than anything else. But I don't really want to do that. And I really do like the LEGO games. If you play them on the Xbox 360 and buy them used, I think that's your best bet by far. I wouldn't say doing reverse compatibility with the PlayStation 4 is very good, because then you're going to be playing using the Play Now service, which is no good. Backwards compatibility with the Xbox One might be fine, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they are backwards compatibility, so that would be something you have to look at. But if you were just going to walk into a GameStop or a video game store tomorrow and get something, you could get a used Xbox 360 cheap, like an arcade thing with no hard drive, play the LEGO games and get those real cheap, and that wouldn't be a problem. Although you may start to run out of time. I don't know, most game stores, last time I looked, were still trying to get rid of like PlayStation 2 games, but I think they finally decided to stop doing that. Let's play this.
Don't forget to tip your Torin.
And this. And in the turn. It's really pathetic with the LEGO thing. I just wanna finish the LEGO series up, and then I just wanna get ahead so badly on all the things. And I'm gonna hurt my channel probably. Like, the LEGO series is at best 30-minute episodes, and I should double it up, but I'm not gonna double it up. I'm gonna totally intentionally drag it out. Come on, win. Nope. Well, then we'll just freeze this enemy and do this. Let's see. So yeah, my channel is definitely suffering, or it's going to suffer by me stretching out footage and going along. Skyrim was the beginning of that, and it was probably a poor decision in the first place to do that. Alright, if I do, let's see, deal 4 damage. Let's do this, and then this.
Prepare to lose.
And then do that. End of my turn. There's so many games I want to play too, and I just don't have time or energy. It's the two things I need more than anything. If I could just freeze time, have an infinite amount of energy, and be a healthy person for all that time, then if I could just have those few great things, that would be great and help me a lot. Let's see. This.
How much? Bottoms up.
In turn. So I can do 7 damage next turn with this if he doesn't kill any of my spell damage characters. And see, the weirdness here is we've gone 36 minutes. So I should have stopped
Undefeated.
10 minutes ago. And tried to make another recording, which would have been the right move to make. But now I'm in this weird position where I don't have anything really to talk about. And let's see, 7 and 6.
Bottoms up.
And so the weird point here is we've got nothing to talk about and we don't want to break this stride. I'm gonna have to figure out, I'm not gonna do it today, but I'm gonna have to figure out a way to break up these videos. Arena runs, I don't know how I can do that particularly. I think in a similar way, like I'm saying, my channel's gonna suffer. My channel's gonna suffer for this idea too. I'm going to probably say I'll go 25 minutes on arena runs, and then I'll break it. And if I go 5 minutes on arena runs, then we'll try to do some ranked play to get it up to 10 or 20 minutes at least. But then that's gonna be it. Or I'll go 20 minutes on an arena run, and if I go another 25 minutes on an arena run, and if I go another 25 minutes on an arena run, if I make it all the way to 13 victories somehow, that would be great. But that might also be an entire week designated to this. Let's just go ahead and play this in the turn, save the coin for later. They say people use the coin way too early in the game. And it has more value later on. Alright. So. I'm just gonna end my turn here. We'll see what happens. Alright. We play this. We do this. And we do 2 damage to the face. That was quite the card. What was it? Called Dirty Rat. Quite the card there, Dirty Rat. This new expansion, it didn't add a ton of stuff, but it added a few little tweaks and things that if I played a lot more of Hearthstone, I would certainly appreciate it and see that it has done something to change the gameplay. Of course, obviously not enough for Blizzard, considering they're saying they see too many people playing with mechs, which makes no sense because aren't almost all the mechs in the game wild cards anyways? Let's see.
Handle it!
Let's see. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. And attack this. The random cards I picked to play turned out to be a nice combination of taunts and freeze mage and power-ups and one secret to play. A little bit of everything, which I think if you were trying to make it to the legendary ranks, you probably do need some good value cards that can do a little bit of everything. You probably don't need a weapon, but you probably do need a secret.
No.
Maybe this guy's lost connection. I would definitely take lost connection wins on an arena run. Even if I make it to 3 victories, that's... I don't think it's gonna repay me as much as I would like to be repaid. Alright. We'll transform this guy into a sheep. And then into turn.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Alright. Spell, draw a card, or spell, freeze a character. Let's spell, freeze a character. In the turn. Does another 5.
Delicious spider ichor.
Let's see. There we go.
Job's done.
Spell damage to do 7 now. This guy's doing a lot of damage to himself. But he's trying to armor up. Let's put this and this and in the turn. We may lose here. He's got to make some decisions. And I think he's made the wrong decision there.
You're in trouble now.
Get in there and fight, maggot! Fly, Polly!
Let's see. Let's add a random potion to our hand first.
Drink the power.
After your opponent plays a minion, transform it into a sheep. Let's do this and end the turn. And now I start to get my health back up. He seems to be a heavy weapons character. Deal 3 damage to character and
I can't
freeze
do
it.
that.
This and that.
Bottoms up.
So all I need is a second fireball and 1 spell damage, or honestly, if I just got a second fireball in the next turn, I'd win.
By my beard!
Let's see. Deal 1 damage to our minions. Kill this guy. Should I play this or should I save it? I think I should save it. We're kind of neck and neck here. Like he could wear me down, or I could wear him down.
Finally, a second chance.
Let's go ahead and kill him. See, I think that was the right move. Holding on to that.
I can wait no longer.
So now he's enraged to 10. So I'll lose if I'm not careful.
Job done.
Yep, game over. So that was 46 minutes. If I had stopped at 25 minutes or thereabout, we could have done 2 recordings out of this. And I think we can at least expect 2 recordings from Arena Runs going forward. And now we get to see what a level 2 key gets us. Remember, it's 150 gold to play in the arena. And that hasn't gone down, and you get 2 boxes. 40 dust and 1 pack. Which is not even the pack I'd prefer to get, but whatever. So a pack is 100. So 100 plus 40 dust probably isn't worth 150, but it might be. Let's see. A bunch of common cards and 1 rare card. And let's see what that converts down into dust. Because that was all 5 cards, which then gives us another 40 gold. 40 dust. So I'm now up to 135. How I got down to 5, I don't know. But somehow I did it. And I'll never use that 5 dust. There's nothing new to look over here too. So remember, a pack is 100 gold. An entrance to the arena is 150. So we have to purchase our way back into that. And that should have been 2 recordings, but it was just 1 recording. It didn't go too badly. I didn't run out of a lot of things to talk about for 20 minutes or anything. We found some stuff to talk about. And we're at 5,950 as far as gold, so we're still not in a terrible place. The Tavern Brawl will be back in 12 hours, so hopefully it will still be around in 3 days when we get our next set of quests, and I won't miss that. Solo Adventure is nothing new. And as we have probably about 9 to 8 days left on the rank, we're going to end up at rank 19 on... The highest rank right now is the 19 ranked chest for Wild. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.